Hey, everyone. We got the live stream going on. We're going to give people a few moments to kind of get connected. It's just 8:30 now, but as you can see, we have the crew. We got John, Mark, Dave, Jason, Dan, me. It's pretty good stuff. Thanks, guys, for logging in. I really, really appreciate it. I think it's going to be a good time tonight, and I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to talk about our hike on the Cranberry Lake 50. We're going to talk about the Hike October fundraiser. We're going to pick a winner for the T-shirt contest. All in all, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully more people will start to join. Oh, Dan's on the move.
Yeah, it's kind of messing with my head. Dan's walking around.
It's all right. It's all right.
Well, sorry about that. Now that we're actually live, I figured I would go someplace where I wouldn't quite so annoy my wife.
Someplace private.
That's reasonable. I'm just checking to make sure the live stream is actually going on right now.
Yeah, it's going.
I can see it.
I see it.
That's good news.
It's got a bit of a delay, so that's kind of messing with my head.
Someone's asking, how's your Mrs. J?
How's the missus? Oh, she is actually good question. She's actually at NYLA right now. She's in Syracuse. She's doing the New York Library Association stuff and having a good time, apparently, from what I hear. It's funny, when she goes away on those trips, it's like me going into the woods. We don't actually get to chat. She's just busy having a good time, hanging out and doing her thing. And maybe she'll call me, but most of the time she doesn't.
So next time you got to give her your Garmin.
Yeah.
She has to be in reach.
But it's not because she doesn't have service. It's because she just is having too much fun. She doesn't want to talk to me.
Oh, there's my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Bo, Mom. Hi, Mark's mom.
Mark's mom is awesome. She will be making her channel debut probably in December. Spoilers. So,
that still hasn't gone up, has it?
No.
We have to finish parts of it.
But yeah, we have a very awesome video that's going to be coming out in December. Probably, maybe it might get pushed to January depending on how the holidays go. But it's a good one. Yeah, it's going to be good, I think. So, I encourage people to watch it if they wouldn't normally, I guess.
Of course you would.
Yes, of course.
Did you ever receive that message I sent, Jay, to your Garmin?
No, I didn't. Interesting. We'll have to figure that out for the next trip. Because I don't know if the email address for Garmin works for yours. I know it works for Dave's. I know it works for John's. But they have Garmin InReaches as well. So I don't know if maybe that's why they work. I have a number that I can give you. I just don't know it off the top of my head. So very cool.
Is it 867-5309?
Oh no. That's funny. Oh man. Let's see. Just keeping track of how things are going here. So live streams are a little interesting, I guess, because you don't really know how many people are coming, if anybody's going to come. So I guess without delaying too much. Oh, hey, Tommy. What's up, man? Oh, nice, dude. Thanks for logging in, man. Tom is from the Hike for Mental Health organization. That is very cool. That is awesome. Thank you, man, for logging in. We, this is kind of our capstone on our Hike for Mental Health fundraising and hiking adventures this year. So it's pretty good. It's a little bit of both, I think. So what I wanted to do for this live stream is obviously I wanted to have everybody that went on the Cranberry Lake 50 hike with us come on, and we're going to share a few things that we have that we feel is important about the Cranberry Lake 50. Some favorite things, some least favorite things, and then what we're going to do is we will draw a random winner for the T-shirt contest for everybody who donated to our fundraiser this year. Really,
And that
really
includes
appreciate
us,
it.
right?
What's that?
That includes us, right?
No,
Did you donate?
You're in the list, so I guess you could win a shirt. But if you guys win a shirt, I will draw another winner.
Yeah, re-roll.
Yeah, and then we're gonna finish out the night. Now that it's been a few days past the end of October, the analytics for YouTube has finally finished doing what it does, and I know how much we can put in for our final donation for Hike October 2021, and I'm really excited about it. So it's good stuff. Oh man, whew. Good. So first off, I'm gonna ask you guys. Let's start with the negative stuff. Go around and let's talk about the trail. We were on for 5 days. Most of us were on 5 days. Sorry, Jason. Actually, Jason, do you want to talk about why you had to leave early?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was gonna say, if anybody's watched the video, and if you haven't, shame, you should have. On day 3, Jason had to leave us a little early. So go ahead and explain what was going on, man.
Yeah, I started, unfortunately, getting some leg issues. A few days before that, I actually did Mount Marshall up in the high peaks, and was dealing with some calf issues after that hike for a few days because it was a big hike for me for the year. And then 7 days later, obviously, we're out on the Cranberry Lake 50, and those issues started coming back. I started getting some calf pain, and my ankles started swelling, which the guys didn't know they were swelling until after the fact when I sent them a picture. So unfortunately, I had to bail out on day 3. They only had 2:09 to go to camp for day 3, and I think I had 4:09 to get back out. So I had a ways to go. And when I got home and finally got picked up, my ankles were about the size of a softball. So it was in some pain for sure. More than likely, it was my gout that came back, which was pretty painful. So I had to, rather than suffer for another 20-something miles, it gave me an excuse to go back next year and finish up.
Yeah, man. And honestly, you know how we talked about it when you made the decision. It honestly was the best decision you could have made for yourself. And not for nothing, so you had to bail out on day 3. Day 4 was our 12.5-mile day. That was our longest day on trail. And we were hauling, we moved. And I think that would have been really problematic. Not necessarily the distance. You could have made the distance probably, but in the speed at which we were doing it, it would have been troublesome, I think. So that being said, that section you still have to do is probably one of my favorite sections. So like you, I have an excuse to go back out there.
Well, if you guys are invited to go with me, so I'll let you know.
Hey, Jess, how are you? So yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's one of those situations where it's really important to kind of listen to your body and make the choice that is going to let you come back out and hike again instead of, pushing on. And you're a trooper, dude, because, you were having those issues, day 2 and day 3 probably, right?
Yeah, it started on day 2. Day 3, it really came to a head.
Yeah. And, coming off of Olmsted Pond, that was an interesting bit of terrain there. So you didn't even complain at all. It was, I'm impressed. I had no idea how severe and serious the problem was until you sent that picture. It was bananas. That's crazy.
He didn't fall in the water. He was the shortest guy, and he didn't fall in the water. So
thanks, Mark. It would have been over my head anyway.
Yeah.
That's
Schnitzels
awesome.
is the short guy. Oh, I'm pointing the wrong way.
The short guy. Nice. Well, thanks for sharing that. I really appreciate it. And it goes as a little bit of maybe an example to anybody else that's out there. You don't have to kill yourself to get to the top of the mountain, the end of the thru hike. If it's the right time to take a break, man. It's the way to do it. So thanks.
Absolutely.
Oh man. So, all right, now we can talk about the really crummy parts of the trip. The things that we really were not the greatest parts. Let's start with something that's near and dear to my heart and my guts. We'll talk about food. So I'll go first. My least favorite bit of food on the trail was this chicken salad creation things. These things are trash. I don't know why. Maybe it's the mixture of like the pickles or carrots. I don't know what's in it. It does not taste good. And I unfortunately had like 4 packets of those. Those are going to be lunch for like 3 of the days. Definitely stretched out my buffalo chicken creation packets so that I could get some more days of those instead of these crummy things.
I was gonna say it was just the chicken salad ones. You're saying
just the chicken salad,
yeah.
Because the buffalo is where it's at. The buffalo's good.
Yep. The barbecue was terrible too.
Yep.
Although
the barbecue tastes a little funny.
The pulled pork was actually pretty decent.
I was rolling with the chorizo tuna packets, and those were good too. I like those a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was my worst.
I've had the chicken salad before
too.
It's bad.
The least favorite food for this trip was that. So
tuna
John,
and water was fine for me.
What's that?
Tuna and water was fine for me.
No, Tom, it's not a paid commercial. It's we'll be trashing a couple of different brands, I think. John, what was your least favorite?
We'll get to the things we like later.
So yeah, I had put like a ton of time into dehydrating a bunch of my own meals, and I only brought one, I think, on this trip, and I tried to like recreate that like Mountain House breakfast scramble with like eggs, and I dehydrated my own sausage and home fries and peppers, and I had Mylar bags, and they were sealed with oxygen absorbers and like all this really cool stuff that I was doing. But the only thing I didn't do myself was the eggs. I was like, I'm just gonna buy some eggs and throw them in here, like, you know. Dehydrating, freeze drying my own eggs sounds like almost impossible. So I'm going to buy the eggs and kind of do all the other stuff myself. And I use these Augustin Farm eggs, and they are like, and Dan, I think, had this experience in the past too. They were miserable. I had a whole block of Parmesan, and I was just cutting off like chunks of it with my knife and melting them into the eggs till it was more Parmesan than the eggs. But like, it literally was like ground up cardboard and Parmesan that I couldn't even eat it. When I got home, all the other ones I made, I mean, it took me hours to dehydrate all this stuff and put them together. When I got home, I just threw out all the rest of them. I was like, nope, done. Never eating these again. So yeah, that was by far my least favorite meal on the trail because I could not even finish it and eat it. I think Daisy ate it actually. Daisy didn't like it.
It's amazing that you had a full block of Parmesan cheese, man.
Yeah,
that's still funny.
It's not the first time.
Nope,
either.
It's not.
The last time it was like a 3-day trip. I think I had a whole block of Parmesan too. It comes in handy. It's like
the rest of us borrowed some. So.
Yeah, it's like Fritos. Like you can put Parmesan in everything. You put Fritos on everything. Like it's one of those things that just goes on everything. I love it.
I wouldn't combine Parmesan with Noon tablets. That sounds terrible.
That sounds.
I mean, but at least you get electrolytes.
Right.
Mark, what was your least favorite food on the trail? Did you have anything that you didn't like?
Yeah. So we'll skip over the one where I accidentally boiled my trail mix. That was not exactly a great breakfast. But yeah, I was boiled water for my oatmeal, and I had taken some of my trail mix, raisins and stuff, and put it in my oatmeal bag, and then poured the hot water into my trail mix. It was not good.
But I tried to give you an idea to like fix it, and you refused to do it. I don't even remember what it was.
Yeah, it was the last night, or last morning, I think. So I just chucked it down. That's no good. Anyway, on a related note, though, the thing that I actually didn't like was one of the Mountain House breakfasts I did was granola. And for some reason, I thought it was supposed to be a warm breakfast, just like oatmeal. So I had added some more of my trail mix to it, pre-boiling. And it had blueberries and granola, but I guess it was supposed to have water added just enough to eat it like cereal, but with water. And it was not really dehydrated. It didn't kind of spread out or anything, and it was just eating what you would expect from just water-soaked granola. It was gross. And the other thing that I'll say for negative food is Daisy gets a vote too.
Yes, she does.
What she didn't like is I had actually bought a new type of freeze-dried. I'm actually trying to find it. There it is. It was a Nature's Diet Simply Raw freeze-dried. And I do freeze-dried food for her, so it's not as heavy for the multiple-day packs. This specific one was like a powder instead of nuggets. And it had peas in it, among other things. And she did not like it. She kept eating around it and leaving it every meal that I gave her, some of that mixed in. Luckily, that wasn't the only thing I had for her. I had a couple different types to test, and they were all mixed together. But that's the piece she wasn't eating. So that will not be one she will be buying again because she didn't like it.
Nice. Man. But the trail mix, that was really funny. Like just seeing you as soon as you realized after you waited the 10 minutes or whatever it was, you're like, oh no. That was
I'm
really
like, why is this not?
This
Oh,
doesn't look right.
You were
That's awesome.
so sad.
Dave, did you have any meals or any food that you were just like really dissatisfied with?
I actually didn't, but what I
Nice.
was dissatisfied with was, so when I was getting ready to do this, I was just going to have Kind bars for my snacks. And as we're trading pictures of our food, all the guys are like, listen, I know this is your first like really long backpacking trip. You want more than just Kind bars, and they couldn't have been more right. To the point that, you know, I brought candy, I brought some like Gardetto's mix, and I ended up carrying probably about 5 pounds of freaking Kind bars for 50 miles through the Cranberry Lake 50. And I ate some of them, but I decided to go for things like my favorite thing on the trail, which was Reese's Pieces first.
Oh, nice. Getting ahead of yourself there.
The amount of miles I put on some Cliff Bars has been ridiculous. Like, I carried them for like 4 days and then brought them home, put them in another day pack, carried them for another day. And like, I'm like, why do I have all these Cliff Bars? Like, I just can't even eat them anymore. It's crazy.
Dave, I loved it. We were sitting at the tables right on that bridge over the Oswegatchie, right in Cranberry Lake there. And it's the last time we're like eating on trail, and it's, you know, we're going to go do the road walk right to the cars. Dave goes, hey, anybody wants some Kind bars? This is perfect. He just had so many of them still. It was really quite funny.
They weren't even bad. I chose other things first.
Yeah, they were good. Like, I think I took 2 or 3 of them, and I might have ate one and then carried like 2 or 3 for 2 days. And then I think I still have them. They're probably like right over there on my desk.
Can't do it. That's funny. Give a big shout out to Ben from Hilltop Packs. Hey, Ben, how's it going, man?
Hey, Ben, is my pack done yet?
I saw a picture.
It's getting
Man. It
close.
looks like
We
it's
saw
so-
pictures.
I can't
saw
wait to
pictures
wear
on
it before
Instagram.
you get to wear it. It's going to be amazing.
God, I hate your face.
Quick little spoiler. John and I are going to be taking a trip down to visit Hilltop Packs very soon, and I think we're going to get to play with Dan's pack before Dan gets to play with it, and I'm so excited.
You guys are so mean.
Oh yeah, it's going to be great. So it's going to be a good time. Jason, what about you, man? What was your food situation? Your least favorite food on trail?
I don't know if there was anything I really disliked. Maybe just a straight granola bar, only because they're so dry.
Yep.
But like John, Cliff Bars, man, 10 years ago when I started my 46er quest, I took them on a hike because that's what you got to do. You got to take protein bars and everything else with you. And I ate one and never took one ever again.
But you were like test driving meals and stuff too, like beforehand. You're like, all right, I'm going to eat a dehydrated meal for dinner tonight. It's like 3 days before.
I took food that I liked because I didn't want to sit there and be freaking start eating something after hiking for 12 miles and be like Daisy, and pick around everything.
Yep.
Well, good food is such a huge psychological boost.
Absolutely.
At any point in the trip, whether it's breakfast or you're looking forward to this great meal you have for dinner, or you're just like, wow, my shoulders are killing me because screw this pack. I'm going to have a handful of Reese's Pieces right now.
Bingo. Yep.
Yeah, I don't understand why my pack is so heavy or why I gain 4 pounds every time I go backpacking. But I'll tell you what, peanut butter M&Ms.
So
I actually
Dan,
lost almost 10 pounds, believe it or not.
You did?
But
Wow.
I didn't eat as much as you guys did.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, you were having a real tough time just putting away the entire meal that you had.
But
you weren't hungry at all.
That's the way it always has been for me on a hike. I don't feel like eating.
Yeah,
that means you're miserable.
It's not a good thing because you don't get the calories that you're losing.
Yeah.
That just means you were miserable because that first MPT trip I did with Jay, I had like 1,000 pounds of food and didn't want to eat a thing the whole time. I had so much food and I didn't want to eat a single thing.
Yep. All right, Dan, your turn. What do you think? What was your least favorite food on trail?
So we've got somebody in the group who will make you such a deal and will find you such a deal. And he recommended these waxy cubes of, I think they were supposed to be strawberry flavored. I'm only inferring that because they were red. And I tried, man. I brought 5 of the things, 1 per day, and I could never eat more than 2 of the stupid little cubes. They got stuck in your teeth, and they didn't taste like anything. They didn't do anything.
Okay, what does this mean? And 2, what are you actually talking about?
Those cubes that you had me buy on Amazon that were like, you're like, here, Dad, here's a case of
Promio bars.
But not the bars, the
energy shots or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
You know,
like the Goo Chews or the Cliff Shots or there's like
it's the Pro Meal ones.
John has all
the raspberry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I started with those. I'm on to I've gone like 3 brands past those to where I'm like at now, which I like.
He's not sharing with us anymore. So thanks, Dan.
Yeah, no, you can have all the other ones that I still have cases of the other ones, but the Cliff Block ones are my new favorite because they're like the least teeth sticky. And
caffeinated jelly beans. So Jim just mentioned caffeinated jelly beans. I've never heard of this.
What do you mean caffeinated? Oh, there's another. I missed that.
Wow.
I
think I need to find these.
Yeah, I want them now
because I like caffeine and I like jelly beans. That's kind of cool.
As long as they don't taste like coffee.
Well, yeah. Or those weird ones.
Or espresso or black licorice.
Yep.
Black licorice or earwax. That was an awful one.
But Dan, awesome. you got a great deal on them though, didn't you? Right?
Oh,
I got a really good deal.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you there because it doesn't really matter how much you spent; they're still trash.
That's really funny. All right, let's move on to something that's good. What is our favorite meal? Let's go in reverse. Dan, go first, buddy.
I one night did ham and shrimp fettuccine Alfredo. So you get a box of Alfredo noodles from the store for like $1.99. And I found online freeze-dried shrimp and freeze-dried ham. And you just kind of dump them in and add like a small scoop of powdered milk.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's so good. So tasty.
Nice. Very cool. What about you, Jason? I know we're talking about stuff.
The Peak 2 refuel sweet pork and rice, man. That was fantastic.
Nice.
It had some good spice and everything else to it, and obviously the rice and stuff for all your carbs and stuff to get all those calories back. And wrapping it up in a wrap was awesome at the end of the day.
Wraps,
yeah, that's where it's at, man.
Wraps for all the things.
Dave, I think you already spoiled yours, unless it was just that you have multiple favorite things.
The Reese's Pieces was the best snack. Mountain House beef stroganoff.
Nice.
It was just really tasty, but all the Mountain House stuff I ate was good.
Yeah, they do a good job. I mean, that's probably why they are, in business. Mark, what did you enjoy the best?
Following Dave, actually, on that one, my favorite meal was my lasagna. Well, first off, the Reese's Pieces was amazing, so I'll just point that out because those were great. I've never thought of bringing those with the peanut butter M&Ms, but he meant those Reese's Pieces. But I did a Mountain House lasagna with meat sauce, and that was really good. Again, I added it to wraps, and of course put Fritos and some of John's Parmesan. So to bring all these things back around, the Parmesan mixed in just with the Fritos and then threw them all in a wrap with that lasagna. That was the best.
John, you're the big foodie. What was your favorite part? What was your favorite meal or food thing? Can't hear you, buddy.
Mute.
All right. We're on now. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to mute here a little bit so I don't say anything crazy. Yeah, I was
Too late.
Yeah, you got to make sure I'm penned up or crazy things happen. So I was rocking like the Next Mile meals. Usually on big trips, I'll try like another brand or something I haven't tried yet. So I had ordered like 5 or 6 different flavors of the Next Mile meals. They're pretty cool. I got the one that I like the most right here, which was the deli roast beef. It's pretty cool. I think they're like paleo-ish, so they're very like protein heavy. So if you do have Next Mile meals, you're probably gonna want to wrap or something with it. Or if you do paleo protein heavy, then just don't eat the wrap. But if you're just trying to eat a normal meal, because it is just like meat, really, but it's really good meat. And the deli roast beef one comes with a mayonnaise packet that you like mix in there, and maybe a mustard packet too. Mayonnaise and mustard packet. Yeah, so there's a mayonnaise and a mustard packet, and you mix that all into the roast beef, dude, and it was so good. I was really happy with it.
That's nutty.
Yeah, John's getting a kickback here, and he didn't tell us. He's not sure.
I need some food sponsors here.
Hashtag Big Iron.
I'm a sellout. I'm a sellout. Any food sponsors that are on, like t-shirts or something.
So my favorite thing on the trip was actually something that I got from Bryce Newbold. Bryce Newbold is a YouTuber who does a whole bunch of very cool adventure videos. If you haven't checked him out, definitely recommend it. He's awesome. He does some really incredible stuff. But he did a hike in the where was it? Maybe the Lake Tahoe Rim Trail.
Are you saying there's adventure videos on YouTube?
Yeah, there's a few. It's a small niche market. But he posted this thing where he made a drink with orange Noon tablets and this Tang squirty stuff. And I'll tell you what, I looked forward to this the last 2 miles of every day because I knew this was going to be like an awesome flavor shot of just deliciousness. And it really was. That was the thing I looked forward to when we're walking. I know we're like within 2 miles of camp. This was it, man. This was the thing. So that was my favorite on trail. Everything else I had already had on trail before, and it is what it is. So that's what I did there with that.
And Jay, I had one more thing, and I remember like some of you guys got to taste it, and I totally forgot I even had this meal. But Packet Gourmet has that like everything in the works burger or whatever that you also put on wraps. And I had made those myself too. I dehydrated that meat and like brought like the mayonnaise packet, the mustard, the ketchup packet, and all that to put in a wrap. And that thing was so I made 2 meals myself that I brought. The eggs sucked, but the everything in the works burger was so good. I think some of you guys had it, and it was like,
it did taste good.
I have 2 or 3. I have 2 or 3 more of those in the closet over there. Like, I'm excited that I get to eat those at some point.
Nice. All right, let's move on to gear. We all had 5 days worth of gear, and I'm sure that something was not what you wanted to bring, or you got halfway through the trip and you wished that you hadn't brought it. So let's mix it up a little. Dave, what was your least favorite piece of gear on trail for the CL50?
I have to say it was my pack. But that said, it wasn't mine, so it's not that big a loss. because like 2 days as we're packing, I'm doing some test packs, and I'm like, oh, this will fit great. I have this like 35-liter little pack, and I'm like, it's gonna work. And then remember when I said the guys gave me some education about food and not bringing enough? Totally screwed me. Yeah. So I'm like frantically finding a pack, and a buddy let me borrow this Eddie Bauer one, and the pack was big enough; it was fine. It just didn't have padding in the right place, and my shoulders.
Yep.
Especially on that long day on day 3. Oh my God! Or no, day 4. Oh, my shoulders.
Dave, wasn't it like a rock climbing pack or something? It had like all these zippers on it that like opened up and like did weird things.
I think it was really made for rock climbing and ice climbing, but it just had the space I needed. Yep. So, and are we doing favorite gear too, or just worst gear right now?
Well, we'll just do worst right now because Mark, what was your least favorite gear?
Well, just so you know, Dave, there were conversations going on in the background when we were discussing you, and I wish Adam was here, but Adam's food choices for the trip, where a couple of us were considering carrying extra food so that when you ran out 2 days in, you didn't starve to death and die.
Turns out we didn't need to worry about it. He
That's
had
touching.
pounds and pounds of Kind bars. He was fine.
Yeah.
And some of us did just in case.
Yeah, some of us did.
Well, John
Well,
gave
thank
out
you, guys.
everybody a snack pack. before
Yeah.
we
Oh yeah, the
started
Big
on
Iron
trip.
pre-trip snack pack.
Also known as his rejected snacks, but they were still very tasty.
Dave,
Only
not-
like
not
1
to
or 2 are
spoil-
expired. Okay, there wasn't
Not
much
to
expired.
spoil anything, but I know a group of people who could take care of your backpack situation. You know.
Oh, believe me, I've been researching,
You know,
and that's high on the list.
I know
Just so
some
you
people.
know, their lead times tend to not be as accurate as one might hope. But it's
No,
not.
it's a
really
global
their fault.
pandemic. What do you expect, man? Can't give them
Hey, they
crap
were
for
making
that.
face masks and stuff.
Hey,
That's, they were
don't
doing
make
things.
Ben mad like the week before we're about to go see him.
No. It's
Quality
okay.
is
All right,
worth
made
waiting
it
for.
back.
All right,
Quality
Mark,
is worth waiting for.
Mark,
It
what was
is.
your least favorite piece of gear on the trail, man?
Well,
Did you have
you guys
anything?
can probably guess. But a couple of weeks before doing this trip, I had been researching trying to get a new pad because one of my pads was slowly leaking away.
Your sleeping pad, right?
Sleeping pad, yeah,
Because you're a filthy ground dweller.
because I'm a filthy ground dweller.
Yeah.
And I had bought one on Amazon years ago that had worked really well for me for years. So I had rebought that same one last year, and I only got like 4 trips out of it, and it developed a slow seam leak somewhere. So I ordered a different brand, same thing, but when I was researching, John sent me this $185 pad, and I scoffed in his face. No one's spending that kind of dumb money on a pad.
But it was such a deal.
And went ahead and ordered my $40 one, and he said, "Oh, hi. Well, you'll enjoy it when you're sleeping on the ground and it dies on you." I'm like, "Yeah, but at least I will only have spent $45, and that could happen on the $185
Yeah.
one."
Mark, what you didn't know is I put the holes in it just so I was right.
That's what it is. But yeah, this was only the 3rd use of this pad. I used it on the canoe trip a couple of weeks beforehand. Jay had borrowed it, and it worked fine. And then first night on Cranberry Lake into a 4-night trip, flat, ran right out. So I slept on the ground for 4 nights, like literal ground, not just the ground dwelling portion of it. So that piece of gear, it's an Invoker is the name of the pad. Not happy with that. And I had to get up and come out, and the guys were like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "John was right."
Oh, pain.
Oh, that's
No
the
one-
worst
you
part.
never admit
Worst
that.
part.
No
say
one
that
wants
again.
to say that. John wasn't even there. He was like
But he knew,
800
he felt it. It was a
feet
disturbance
away,
in
and
the force.
we heard him yell, "Yes!"
That's funny.
yeah. So that was my not favorite piece of gear.
But yeah,
John-
right. Like they say invest the money into like, getting a good night's sleep, right?
Yeah.
Like the good night's
That's
sleep
it.
is the best thing to have on the trail. If you're really going to put money somewhere, putting it in that good night's sleep, whether you're on the filthy ground dweller like Mark or in a hammock, is really important.
Yeah.
And and with that, when you think about it, as long as that one lasts longer, like the first one I bought lasted years and hundreds of miles, several trips. So I didn't think much of it. I got my money's worth out of that at $40. But now I've bought 2. That's $80. That
Buy
I
once,
basically
cry once.
flushed.
Buy once, cry once. John, what piece of gear was your least favorite, man?
Yeah, so I don't really have like that cool of a story. My least favorite piece of gear is, and it's this Morsel XL spork thing. and this like the little spatula part came off of it, and it's like really big. And I'm switching back. I'm getting rid of this thing. I'm gonna go back to the titanium spork. They're like what I wanted was, if I'm cooking in the pot, I wanted to be able to clean the pot with the spatula and like really get the stuff out of there. So there's like not too much to clean with a little towel or something like that. And the spatula on it is not that great. Like the idea is awesome, that right, you can kind of like scoop around the outside of the pot and get all the little like stuff off, but it just doesn't work well. So, and then it broke. So this thing's done. That's out of here. I'm done with that.
Right in the trash can.
Yeah, but I did also find a like wooden spoon on the trail, and it's now washed. So
Totally
maybe,
did.
so I did like I lost one spoon, and now I got like a new spoon. So, and why am I the one that always finds the stuff? Like I find things all the time. Like I'm like
Probably because
I'm like a
you're,
gypsy. I find all these little treasures, and like
it's probably because you're 30 minutes ahead of the rest of us. From
Oh,
walking.
Yeah, you're standing around waiting.
That's
Speaking
kinda
of which, if
true.
anybody finds my poop bag, it's a little green bag that I lost somewhere on the Cranberry Lake 50.
Yeah, that's
no
unfortunate.
idea. Whoops.
Likely next to one of the thunder boxes.
True story.
Tom says he uses his trowel as a spoon.
Oh God.
Unfortunate.
Well, you bring two trowels, one's
Two
for
trowels.
eating, one's for pooping, and then you're
You
like,
just don't tell
but
your
then all of a
friends.
sudden you're like, oh crap, which one? I got them mixed up.
Literally.
Dan, did you have a piece of gear that you were less happy with?
Oh, 100% I did. I got up the morning. We spent the night in Lake Placid. No, Tupper Lake.
Tupper Lake,
The night before the hike in a
Airbnb.
Verbo or an Airbnb or whatever. And I woke up and I said to myself, I'm going to put my socks on and I'm going to put my hiking shoes on, which were in the closet at home in
3 hours
Michigan
away.
Lake, 3 hours away. So my least favorite pair of gear were these awful sneakers that I did a 55-mile hike in.
But you loved it.
That are covered in pee,
They
right?
were covered in pee from the dogs. They were, yeah. And I will say it was nice to have a lighter shoe. It was not terrible to, step in a beaver dam, because let's face it, you had the college level beaver dams, and then you had the obviously just trying to pass a middle school class that abstractly knew what a beaver dam looked like beaver dams. And when you got up to your knees, these dried out pretty quick. That having been said, I wouldn't take them in the high peaks because they wouldn't survive, and I would die.
So technically,
here's the thing.
were they sneakers?
John-
Oh, go ahead. Good.
I was gonna say, John and I are big trail runner guys. Like that's the only thing we'll wear when we're hiking, unless it's winter.
Although-
Well,
Jay,
John's starting to think about it now because of the
don't do it.
lower soles.
Don't do it.
No,
man.
well, with the beaver dams, I put on the Gore-Tex socks, dude, and those worked well. Like my
Yeah.
feet stayed dry, and then once we were done with the beaver dams, I just took those off, and they were totally fine. But
Jason,
those Dan, those shoes, they were sneakers, not trail runners. Like they were just regular sneakers.
They're
Oh,
just sneakers.
I kept thinking you had like trail runners, or you were
Oh
just
God,
saying.
no.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
No.
I was
I
hoping to
decided
convert
that
you.
I was going to do the dumb a second time this year with you people, and just full send on gear that I knew was not correct for what we were doing.
Well, it's becoming habit.
Yeah.
So, Jason, what was your least favorite piece of gear, man?
I don't know what you guys are talking about. All my gear is fantastic.
All of it. All of your gear was fantastic, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, did Gregory ever get back to you?
Yeah, they gave me a return number to send stuff back. Everybody's laughing because I had probably the most god awful time with a brand new backpack that I picked up.
Yeah.
Nothing but problems the entire time. All my straps kept slipping, so either it would fall all the way back or it would just slip all the way down. And it was nothing but a battle literally the whole time. I had to tie knots into the straps so it would stop slipping back and forth. And the return to some local mountain store located in the east was not very
Synonymous with expensive mountain stuff.
yeah, was not
Is there
very,
mountains there?
successful. They were pretty much worthless to return it to. So
Yeah,
And
was
the worst part
unfortunate.
was they were the ones that sized it on him. And the
Yeah.
very first thing Jay and I did when we looked at the pack was, there's no way that's the right size for him.
yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
hey,
Zach
hey,
Galifianakis made it. This is amazing.
Hey,
What's
Zach
up, Zach?
Galifianakis has joined us. How you doing?
You guys are really getting a treat tonight.
So Adam, thanks for coming in. We're talking right now. We're sharing what our least favorite piece of gear on the trip was. Do you have a least favorite piece of gear? Oh,
Oh,
you got it.
now
Buddy,
came up.
you're muted.
Oh yeah, you're muted when you came in.
There you go.
Yeah, he was afraid of what I was going to say. My least favorite was my water filter.
Nah.
You guys all had the bag. You guys all had the Sawyer Life Straw or whatever it was, and I had this.
Yep.
I had the pumper, and Dan took some inappropriate photos and
and video. Hey, Adam, what was it you said when you first saw that Sawyer Squeeze water filter of mine, and you knew that I had a hiker similar to your pump filter? And I'm fairly confident.
He's going to make you say it on a live stream.
I'm fairly confident it was. Why would you do that? Your old filter worked fine.
Yeah. And it's not like my filter was much heavier. It was a little bit bigger, but it is quite a bit more effort when you're like you just go right to the stream and fill it up and just walk away and let it squeeze through. Mine, I had to sit there and pump and
my Sawyer
and kept
Squeeze
clogging. You had to keep
pump filter is not meant for the CL50. It just too soon.
Apparently, when they say rinse it, when they say rinse it, you should really rinse it in a sink for like minutes.
What were you saying, John?
And that was right. Like my Sawyer Squeeze was completely clogged.
Yep.
And I didn't have like the syringe thing either. I had just brought the squeeze, so I had to give it to Jay. And was like, Jay, un-F my Sawyer. Like, here, take this thing. And then eventually you were able to get it unclogged. Like you ran it through a few times.
It was impressive.
It was an impressive clog. If I was by myself, like I would have been screwed.
Yep.
Like, cause I didn't have. So from now on, I will bring the back flush plunger with me.
I keep it in my water bag.
Yep. Yeah, I hadn't been bringing it. I mean, I know we all have enough stuff between all of us, but if I was by myself and I didn't have that kind of back flush, that would have been kind of dangerous. So
you should always bring
Dave's filter broke.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah.
Always have multiple filters when you.
Yeah, that's why I left. I felt bad for Dave, so he could use.
So he could give me his filter. Yeah. So like I'll just.
So I guess on the last one, my least favorite piece of gear was my raincoat because I didn't need it. I shouldn't have brought it. That's the only thing in my entire kit that I did not use on the CL50. So I guess I have nothing to complain about.
You're asked for any better weather though.
It was perfect. It was incredible. So
I'm still convinced that one day the reason you didn't need to wear your raincoat was because the rest of us put on our pack covers.
Yeah,
I told you. For every one of us to put the pack covers on, it decreased the chance of rain by 5%.
I say, fancy Dyneema guy didn't even have to put a pack cover on his.
You have to do it. Right?
Another plug for Ben.
So
I'm so excited.
Soon, man. Right. So my favorite piece of gear, and I've already shown my backpack, so I won't do that because that was definitely my favorite piece of gear. But it's an incredible pack. Little plug for Hilltop Packs. They do amazing work. But my favorite piece of gear, these trashed Ultras. Now, if anybody has been following the channel and my story for any length of time, you've likely heard about our first go around of the Cranberry Lake 50. It was good. Mark and I and Daisy did the Cranberry Lake 50 in 2017. I used boots and it was bad. So my favorite piece of gear on this one was these awesome trail runners, which
even though they fell apart on you,
they are so trash. Like, I don't understand how this happens. These things have about 125 miles on them, and they're wicked trash right now because the Adirondacks probably. Still my favorite piece of gear. Adam, what was yours? What was your favorite piece of gear on the trip?
My hiking poles, my trekking poles. They there was a time, I think on the way to Dog Pond, there was a stretch of flattish trail. Sorry. Had to use the word, and I felt myself slowing down, and I was kind of like pushing them like they were ski poles. That helped quite a bit. Yep. And then it helped a lot on the second to last day to keep up with you and John. I wasn't going to go through that like 3/4 of the day without finishing the day pushing it. So
yeah, it was good. Yeah, everybody did a great job. Jason, what was your favorite piece of gear?
Probably my ENO hammock.
Yeah.
It was the first time I was able to, I guess, hammock camp, and I actually never slept so well at night on an overnight. It was, and I think what helped out a lot was I was able to keep my feet up in the air, so it kept the swelling down in my ankles and stuff overnight. So it was awesome. And it was great weather to the hammock camp as well. We didn't really need anything other than the hammock and an underquilt.
Yeah. What's crazy is, I think that most of the guys really were in the same situation. 2 nights before we left, or 2 nights before we stepped foot on trail, we're all figuring, okay, we still don't really know what kind of installation we were bringing, up until that moment. So it could have gone either way. It's October in the Adirondacks. You could have needed 0-degree gear. You could have needed 40-degree gear. And I think a bunch of us brought some kind of combination of maybe 20 and 40 or 30 and 40-degree gear. And it was perfect. It was so good. I had my 20-degree underquilt and my 40-degree top quilt, and it was awesome. I wasn't sweating and I wasn't cold. It was just perfect sleep. So
yeah, I did all 45-degree stuff and I was comfy.
Yes, there you go. Yep. So Dan, what was your favorite piece of gear, man?
My chair, 100%.
You scare people. I'm telling you.
Chair, because you and Kyle don't like it. No, seriously though. I have back problems. I've had a spinal fusion, and it's one thing to sit on a lean-to if you have one. It's one thing to sit on a rock or a log or something, and it's another thing to actually have a back to lean against. And I'm terrified that if it wasn't for the back to lean against, I might not necessarily be able to walk the next day.
Yeah, well, you did a lot of walking, so bring the chair.
I'll carry 2 pounds of chair. What the heck?
Yeah, there you go. John, your favorite piece of gear?
I mean, so yeah, I got a few. One of them is definitely the chair, because I will never let Dan after the TCT. I will never let Dan like sit above me while I'm like a peasant on the ground, and he's just like,
John, it's so comfortable. You should bring a chair.
Yeah, never again. And then remember the kayaking trip, and then I brought like this huge rocking like awesome chair, and Dan had his little chair. That was cool too. But yeah, I'll never go without the chair again. But 2 other like one serious and one kind of funny. The hang time hook for the hammock, right? Like again, Dutchware Chameleon. That hammock is awesome. But the hang time hook is really good, especially for me. Like I wake up at all crazy hours of the night and I'm up for an hour or 2. So I make sure I download like a few Netflix things, and then I could watch a few shows, and it kind of gets me through the night, or put in my earbuds and kind of like drown out whatever even noises are going on, so I can just get myself back to sleep.
Sasquatch and dog pond.
Dude, there was a Sasquatch in dog pond. Like exactly.
Washing his balls.
If you ever watch 46 of 46 podcast and you listen to that Jonathan Zaharin episode about Allen Mountain, and he was there at night and the Sasquatch was like throwing huge stones like into that happened that first night. There was like huge boulders being tossed into that lake, and I have no idea how that was happening.
I forgot about that. I have to make sure I add that to my write-up.
It was an owl. It was an owl.
No, that was no owl.
You get up at 2:00 in the morning, and you're in the middle of the wilderness. You haven't had cell service in 3 days, and you suddenly realize that somebody is watching a Netflix special on getting away with murder or some awful thing in the hammock 2 trees down.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny too before, because now 3 of us have them. I think myself, Jay, and Dave all had them this trip, and it was funny sometimes to look out at night and you just see the glow of 3 hammocks, the Netflix that everyone's like watching before bed. It was pretty funny. And my like kind of funny favorite piece of gear is anytime I'm going to bring ramen now, I have these ultralight titanium chopsticks. And I had ramen one night, and that was kind of cool. I brought those with me, and it was funny and good, and I enjoyed them.
They're ultralight. That doesn't count.
They're ultralight, man. They're like they're titanium. They weigh nothing.
Hey, quick, raise your hand if you bring ultralight titanium everything for 1 meal out of 8.
Yep.
And big iron alongside it.
I still haven't brought the ultralight titanium tent stake hammer yet, though.
Uh-huh.
That is just
not on a hike.
No, that just sits on the wall as like a prized possession. Like I'm gonna hand that down to my children, and then they can't get dirty.
Mark, what about you, man? Favorite piece of gear?
I wish I could say it was my backpack, but I haven't gotten to get a new backpack yet. Like
I know some people who do backpacks. That's what
I've got that real fancy request that I need to talk to Ben about at some point to see if I can do something with my dad's old pack. But
I think Hilltop Pack should pay us for this at this point. Like, half 20 minutes or half an hour. It's been ridiculous.
Get us all packs. except for Dan. We already ordered one.
Yeah, dismantle his, use his dynamo to build the rest of us stuff. So I'd like to say it was my tent too. I have the Durston 2P, but there was no good place to set it up this whole trip, so I'm not even going to go with that one. So I think I'll do what John did. I'll do a serious one and an amusing one. The serious one, I think actually I'm going to have to go with the toe socks. I had bought, these guys have been swearing by toe socks for a while, and I've been having some blister issues with my latest set of boots. And I hadn't tried toe socks, and I ordered several pairs of them. I wear a liner sock anyway. I wear 2 layers and switched to the toes, and I did not get any blisters this trip. I can't say it's definitely from the toe socks, but I'd say that's probably a pretty good bet.
It is, dude. 55 miles, no blisters. You did something different.
Yeah. So I think that's what I have to do. The other thing that I have to say is probably must be my favorite piece is my knife. Why is my knife my favorite piece? On day 2, I booked by these guys because they were waiting for me in the morning, and I got ready and left and ran down the trail after Jason and Dave. No, Jason and Adam. I don't know. Whoever went first.
Dave.
Jason and Dave.
Yeah.
And I got about, I don't know, half mile, 3/4 of a mile down and realized I had forgot my new knife. It had fallen next to my tent in the leaves. And so I had to turn around and come back past these guys and added over a mile of running. I stupidly carried my pack until I hit them, and they said, "What are you doing? Drop your pack at least." Daisy went with me the whole time. She went all the way back and came.
But we never see Daisy coming at us.
That was a weird. We knew
Daisy
something
is
was
always
up.
with whoever is in the front.
Yep.
So we look up and suddenly
Me.
Daisy is running back toward us, and it's like, is Mark hurt? What happened here?
Hey, John Kelly, what's up, buddy? Thanks for logging in. So yeah, that was an interesting, and what you're lucky that you found it, because let's be honest, it's October in the Northeast. The leaf litter was all over the place. Like,
oh yeah,
that was
and a green. I mean, you can't, if you can see it, it's green and black.
Yeah, that's
good. Good luck finding green and black.
Yep.
In a pile of leaves and dirt.
Yeah.
In a non-marked campsite because there was no place to put a tent.
Yeah. Last but certainly not least, Dave, what was your favorite piece of gear?
Well, I don't mean to sort of go along with Jason again, but it was that hammock that John, the most wonderful, the most generous John, lent me and then gave to me. But it saved me because when we did the canoe trip earlier this summer, I actually slept on 2 crash pads trying to do something for my back. I've been a ground dweller for a long time, and my back wasn't right for 2 weeks. And I thought, how am I going to do that and hike 50 miles? That's not going to work. And I'd had a little experience sleeping in a hammock, and it was positive. Wow. I have never slept so well, so solid, and my back felt like $1,000,000 the entire trip. So that hammock, it's amazing.
After you said that, that's all I was like, Dave will get so much more use out of this thing other than it just sitting in my gear closet with like 4 other freaking hammocks. I'm like, dude, just take it. Like, take the hammock, take whatever the heck, the straps, everything. Like, just go use it.
Yeah.
Well,
it's awesome.
Thank you so much, because we were actually preparing for much colder weather. Like, I bought winter caliber top and bottom quilts, and I'm happy we didn't need them. But having a hammock to borrow and then be given was a big help. So, yeah, I can't say enough. I'm a converted ground dweller. I can't say enough.
Yep, exactly. See, you're one of us now. Awesome.
I was fine on the ground.
Well, I mean, sure. All right, let's move on to the favorite part of the trip. We were out there 5 days. We had a really good time. At least I think we did. So let's talk about the trip as a whole. And Jason, why don't you start? What was your least favorite part of the trip? Seems odd.
Having to leave.
Yeah,
that was my least favorite part is having to leave. But like I said, it gives me an excuse to go back up and finish next year.
Yeah, there you
because
go.
we needed an excuse to go hiking.
That's what my sister said.
Or was it the wife that said, "Just get out of here"?
Adam, how about you, man? What was your least favorite part of the trip?
The least favorite part.
The train ride home.
No. The subway ride home after I got back to Penn Station. But in seriousness, I would think it was the first night, and I was a little hotter than I had thought it would be, so I was like sweating, and like the tent wasn't on the right angle, so I was kind of sloped. And
that was your mac and cheese night, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, we had a hard
cheese after that night.
we had a hard time finding
was,
anywhere for tents, so that was like the best tent spot we could find, and it was still like that.
Dog Pond was the site was not ideal, and I had a bit of anxiety that night, and I didn't sleep very well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I slept okay, but that was probably the least favorite.
John, what about you, man?
So on day 4, I woke up and like my foot was jacked. Like I was in quiet. Like when I get mad, I just get quiet. And like if I'm in quiet John mode on a hike and I'm not talking the whole time, like something's messed up. So like day 4 in the morning, like I was in quiet John mode, and something between like the back, like it was from the back of my like big toe all the way up my foot. But, unlike Jason, I just walked 20 miles on it, even though I just walked through the pain.
Wow.
No big deal.
Shots fired.
I was still in the front, just doing my thing, 20 miles on a hurt foot. It's not that big of a deal. No. But seriously.
He wasn't in the front.
What?
Not on the last day, Mark.
Yeah, that was the day that I was basically skiing down the trail to keep up with him.
Yeah. Day 4 I was. Day 5, I'd finally you guys just go. I don't want to move in the morning. Then I was fine like midday though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only part that's everything else was like so good. But yeah, the waking up that day 4 and having like pain in my foot and being like, okay, I kind of started making those decisions Jason was making where I'm like, all right, well, is it time for me to, head back to Wanakina or was day 4 Wanakina? I don't know.
Yeah. You were kind of past the bailout point at that point.
Well, only like 2 or 3 miles though, right?
Yep.
Like from Wanakina. So, it was like, all right, do I go back to Wanakina because my foot's jacked up, or do I just kind of like press on? And I pressed on, and it wasn't that bad. So I'm not too worried about it.
Hey, John, have you gone to see a doctor yet?
Oh yeah, like all sorts of doctors and stuff. Yeah,
that sounds like a lie. Mark,
yeah, that sounds like a lie.
Did the raised area on your foot go away at least?
So it still kind of was in pain.
It still hurts. He needs to go to a doctor
after. Yeah, and it still feels like a little weird, but it doesn't hurt anymore. Like my thing is, so I'm gonna go. What is it? Next weekend we're going on another trip. Is that what it is? Yeah, we're going on a short hike next weekend. I'm gonna feel it out there, and then if it does hurt on that trip, then I'm gonna go get it actually checked out and X-rayed and stuff.
Yeah, call real doctor, not someone just called Doc.
Oh yeah. Actually, Doc has my number. Doc, if you're out there and you can fix my foot, you have my number. So give me a call.
Some vitamin B12, man. Mark, what was your least favorite part of the trip?
So I have to say that my least favorite part of the trip is kind of similar to the issues we've been running into with 46 in general of late, and that's the crowds.
Yeah.
Not that I don't enjoy people's company, but we already were a big group to begin with. And the unfortunate thing was there was a lot of people out on the trail. Every campsite we went to, we were sharing with people. And usually that's not a big deal, but it was really stretching it for looking for tent spots. You heard Adam talking about how he couldn't sleep the first night. Every night we had a challenge to find places for the tents at least, and even the hammocks. It took the guys sometimes a little while to find decent trees. So it kind of takes a little bit away when you're 20 miles out in the middle of nowhere and you're still running into people. That's a little tough. It doesn't give you quite the silence that you need. So that was kind of my big thing from it. Obviously in the towns you expect to see people, and it was Oktoberfest, which was fantastic. But when you're on the trail, kind of like a little bit more quiet.
and then you run into people you haven't seen in like 10 years that you work.
Well, that's okay because Andrew's awesome.
Yeah, that
but
was pretty gnarly.
and there was weird people on the trail. Like, I don't know what was with that weird makeshift wagon. I don't know what that guy was doing. Like, there was
It was like half bicycle, half wheelbarrow kind of wagony thing.
And the girl with him, I've never seen someone look less happy. And she was sitting, as we're walking by, she's like sitting, and she's kind of like, yep, this is happening.
This is my life. Yeah. Dan, what about you, man?
Honestly,
favorite part of the trip?
I got nothing. There's nothing that. Really
Not even the
stands
boots.
out. Even the boots weren't that bad. I mean, I whine about them because I don't like wet feet. But the fact of the matter is that I made it around to that lake, and actually, I do have something. What day was it that we avoided?
Liar.
What day was it that we avoided the mountain?
Oh,
that was day 3. No, day 2.
That was
day 2.
amazing.
So we kind of usually people go ahead and you meet at the trail intersection, yada yada yada. Great. We lost the trail at one point.
We lost a trail. We lost a trail.
We does not include me, Adam, John, or Daisy. Just
well,
saying.
I looked back for Dan. Dan was like right behind me, and then I looked back for you when I made the turn up that actual trail, and like you weren't there. I was like, Dan will see it. Dan will see it.
Yeah, Dan did not see it,
Dan did
and
not see it.
we found what we assume were either hunting cabins or Deliverance. I don't really know. Anyway, I was only stressed about that because I had all of you looking at me going, oh no, we're fine. We're with Dad. He'll find the trail again.
We did, though. We did.
So yeah, this part didn't make it into the video. But yeah, we kind of, we're walking and the CL50 took a real sharp left, but there was a very well-worn and obvious trail that continued straight. And the one time we really didn't keep our wits about us, a few of us kept walking straight, and I like what Adam said, murder shacks. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Some of them were murder shacks. It was interesting, but it was a good adventure, and because we didn't freak out, we were able to find our way back, and everything worked out real well. And then we went swimming in a creek.
You missed pretty much the hardest mountain portion of the trail. So
yeah, it was awesome.
Right.
Good on you.
And by the time you got to that, creek, all you saw was just my clothes on the rocks.
It was weird. We knew we were safe when we saw John's clothes all over the place.
Listen, if that was more difficult than Cat Bear Mountain, I'd be pretty upset.
I think it was.
So speaking of trail sections, my least favorite section of the trail is day 2, when we only had a half mile to the trail or to camp.
Yep.
We had to pass up 2 beautiful sites because they had probably the only places that had really good tent spots had no hammock spots whatsoever.
Yep.
So it's like,
Mark, we should have just gone back.
I thought about it pretty hard.
But it wasn't just you're at the end of a long day and you have a half mile. It was a half mile of trail that was flooded.
Yep.
So you're walking up and around and bushwhacking, and you're tired. You just don't want to be doing this anymore. That was the longest mile of the whole trip.
And then remember, I was on the other side. Yeah, I was going to say, I was on the other side of the lake. Remember, I saw you guys, and I'm like, at that campsite, and I went, guys, should I keep going? Like, where is this freaking lean-to? And then I'm with Daisy, and then you guys went, yeah, just keep going. You'll run into it eventually. 2 minutes later, boom, freaking gunshot goes off. I think they're shooting at Daisy. So now I'm like, oh man, and then I make my way up to the lean-to and find the guys and start talking to them, and was like, did you just take a shot like somewhere or something? They were like, yeah, when we get to the lean-to, we got to christen it with a round, and they put a round into the lean-to or something. I don't know. We ended up spending the night and talking to the guys and hanging out for a bit. They But yeah, christening the lean-to was one thing I've never seen before, and I don't want to see again. So.
Yeah, and I
does not follow LNT.
Dave stole mine. That section of trail. So Olmsted Pond is gorgeous, and you're right. Those sites were really, really pretty. And if there was a much smaller group, like if we were 2 or 3 people, we could have figured it out. But with a group of 7 of us, there wasn't space. And that was my least favorite part of the trail too, because of how flooded and how really gnarly it was up there. Let alone getting kind of startled by someone shooting a gun. It's hunting season, so it really wasn't like, completely out of the ordinary to hear a gunshot in the Adirondacks. You're allowed to hunt. And it was guns don't bother me. It was just like a startling thing. I wasn't expecting it at the time. And like John said, we walk with a large brown animal. She could look like a baby deer or a baby bear rather. So, and it was like when the gunshot went off, it was like 100 meters from me. Like the lean-to was like up on this hill, and Daisy and I were like right at the bottom of the hill. So it was like so close. And I mean, I'm a hunter. I've been around guns my entire life, but when it went, like when I was just hiking and all of a sudden this freaking gunshot went off that was that close to me, I was freaked out for a minute. But we ended up talking to the guys, had a good night there anyway. It was fine. It was just startling. But yeah, that section of trail was the most trashed, I think. So that was my least favorite.
Daisy wears bright colors so that she isn't shot at. But even then, when I heard it, my first thought was, did somebody just shoot my dog? I'm going to have to kill them.
Yep. My favorite part of the trip.
Jay, before you go on, and luckily we were all wearing the Hike for Mental Health shirts that were bright orange.
Bright orange. Look at these things.
Orange.
Yep. We weren't really worried about someone, shooting at us because we had the Hike for Mental Health shirts on. So that was actually kind of a cool overlap.
Yeah, Tom, I don't know if you guys made that decision on purpose for Hike October having bright orange shirts, but it's perfect. It works out really well, and I'm very grateful for it. So thank you. Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, Tom Kennedy, he's in the chat, and he is one of the founders for the Hike for Mental Health organization. So that's very cool. And, everything that we do for our fundraiser for the last few years for Hike October is all for the Hike for Mental Health organization and their great mission. So it's awesome. It's very, very cool.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. My favorite part of the trip, it was hard to say, but I think it was Cat Mountain. Cat Mountain was awesome. Mark and I, when we had went out in 2017 and did the CL50, we ended up passing out right at the junction to go up Cat Mountain. We legitimately sat down. We sat down. We're like, okay, we're going to rest for a few. And it ended up being like an hour and 15-minute nap or whatever it was. It was just a long nap. We passed out on rocks and we did not make it up the mountain. This time around, I was determined to get to the top of Cat Mountain. We got to the junction, and some dude had just come down, and he'd been saying something like it was tough and there was scrambly parts, and like this guy was a super fit dude. Now, anybody who's watched the channel for any length of time knows that none of us are traditionally athletic, super fit dudes.
You are aware that I just told your sister that I'm round like a bear and Dave is fuzzy like a bear in the chat, right?
Yeah. So there you go. We're bear shaped because we like food and we like brew.
I'm glad I can't see that chat.
But, that's funny. But he came down and he looked like he was pretty whooped, and we're like, oh no, maybe we shouldn't do this because we still have 4.5 miles to camp. But we decided to drop packs, grab our water bottles. I grabbed my camera, and we, a few of us made the trek up. And I'll tell you what, it was awesome. The trail was not bad. There were some steep sections, but it wasn't like crazy gnarly steep. It wasn't high peak steep. It was only 0.7 mile from the junction to the summit, and the views were incredible. So the CL50 doesn't get a lot of elevation. It's a flattish hike, so you don't get those epic vistas. You get really beautiful lakes, ponds, beavers, dams, streams, beautiful stuff like that, but you don't get those big views. So when you get on top of Cat Mountain, you just see forever. And our weather, again, was perfect. We had a crystal clear blue day. We could see for miles and miles and miles, and it was just really awesome. So that was my favorite part. Dave, what do you think, man? What was your favorite part?
Man, it was almost my least favorite part. So yeah, right. So the longest hiking day, we were on the flat trail that was the train track. The guy who was hanging out with me in the back of the pack, Jason, had to bow out. So I'm back there thinking, the last guy, people are taking turns walking with me. This is taking forever. It's never going to be over. Why am I having so much trouble on the flattest part? And then out of nowhere, I think I hear John, just like the loudest sound in the world. And I'm like,
couldn't hear me.
I swear.
It couldn't possibly be John.
And I'm like,
loud noise.
it's over? So I went from thinking, I'm doing terrible, I shouldn't be hiking, all those things that go through your head, to, wow, I was pushing good pace today. That was a really solid hike. Oh, my God. And then we got to finish it in, I think, Wanakina with eating all that food from the general store. It was perfect.
Yep.
That was by far my favorite part of the trip.
Nice. Dan, what about you, man? Favorite part?
The sunrise the last morning.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything that pretty, and I'm really sad that I had to run and poop in the middle of it.
Which, by the way, is standard Dan time. Like you can
File that under stuff we didn't need to know.
Oh, that was the day where Dave went to walk over to it too, and I was like, "Get in line," because there was like two of us waiting up at the lean-to.
Yep.
I felt threatened. Only time on the trip I felt threatened.
That was a
There you
beautiful.
go, Mom.
That was a very beautiful sunrise. Best one on the trip. That was really good. Mark,
The
what
whole
about you?
lake was pink. The
Oh,
sky
yeah.
was pink. It was gorgeous.
It was really nice. Mark, what about you, man? Favorite part?
Well, you stole mine. I was going to say Cat Mountain. And I think I'm still going to say Cat Mountain.
Yeah.
It really was. And I think part of that is because, like you said, we've done the trail already. So for a lot of the things that we saw, we'd seen them before. So High Falls is beautiful. Things like that we've seen. But Cat was something we missed. And it was a real nice, easy hike up. Adam, sorry. But it was not bad going up there. It actually felt better to have no packs on and to be moving. Like the packs off, taking a break when you aren't moving, you kind of stiffen up, and getting up, moving around, going up that. Actually, I felt a lot better having gone up that and come down. Not to mention, you could see all the different lakes from the different directions, because you could see Cranberry Lake the one way and Long Lake the other way. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it wasn't Long Lake. I think it was Cowhorn Pond that you saw.
Yeah, Cowhorn Pond.
Yep.
So you get to see. Well, I can check my map, I guess. But it was just nice to get that view, and it was such a clear day. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. All that foliage was out there, and you could see forever. So
I do not regret the nap I took that day.
There you go. See, no regrets, man. Hey, following Walker's World. What's up, man? Thanks for coming on. John, what was your favorite part of the CL50, man?
I mean, there's no way to narrow it down to like one thing. That's the crazy part, right? Like,
yeah,
the fact that the whole trail was flattish was awesome. Like, yeah, there was like, this was the first time where flattish ever like actually described something, because like there just was not.
First time.
What's that?
First time. I don't know. It's always flattish. Everything's flattish.
No, man. Like,
no,
TCT,
that's what I say.
NPT,
Everything is.
like,
It doesn't make it the truth.
Don't
worry, John.
Niner, 12-ster, 46-er, everything's not flattish. This was the first time on any hike where it was flattish and like enjoyable, like the whole time. But not that climbing elevation stuff is not enjoyable. But
hey, the TCT was fine once you got up on the ridge.
Yeah,
okay.
It's gonna be totally fine. Once we get up on the ridge, it's gonna be totally fine.
FYI, the TCT is not a ridge hike. It is a climb 8 mountains hike, and they're all called Misery.
And the next part, I mean, we just got super lucky. The weather, we said it multiple times, the weather was just perfect. Like the whole time, the weather was awesome. Clear skies, day and night, usually so good. Cat Mountain, again, another thing. Easy elevation, awesome view. So like definitely what? Oh, Adam.
Adam's like he's so upset.
We all lied to Adam when we got down and said, man, it was so hard. It's a good thing you didn't do that, so he wouldn't feel bad.
Such an easy, like just uphill without a pack on, and it was definitely worth going up there. But one of my favorite things was finding all that like trash in the woods.
Oh
like
man,
the big pan and the
you took mine. You took mine.
Oh, the big pan and the stove, and I could do that like Ode to Hurrah Torpedo. If you haven't seen it, like Google Hurrah Torpedo, like Bright Eyes or whatever the song is, and it's so funny. And we got Jay caught me heard me from like a mile away, just like screaming.
It was so
song,
good.
Turn Around Bright Eyes or whatever, and I was messing with the trash.
Again, not the calmest poop I've ever taken in the woods, but
right, like that was
a good
fun
one.
and memorable.
That was great. Yeah, there's Cranberry Lake 50. The trail actually goes through a number of areas where private hunt camps used to be, and in one section there's like a roof and a whole bunch of trash. And it's all from that camp that used to be there. And I remember explicitly thinking the first time we went through, man, there's all the trash and even the kitchen sink, because there's legitimately a sink in the pile. So it was kind of interesting. I forgot how close it was until I heard John smashing on, a stove with some. I'm like, oh, we're getting real close to that. And it was an epically funny experience. And, that's why I was very grateful to have captured it on film, because I was just filming like walking, and all of a sudden I heard this. I went, "Oh no!"
And I couldn't believe none of you guys had seen that Hurrah Torpedo video before. So like, the moment we got service, I had to like YouTube it. It was like, "Look, you guys have to watch this. This is exactly what we're doing." So yeah, the Hurrah Torpedo moment was cool. The Wanakina Oktoberfest in Otto's was so awesome. Like walking across that bridge in Wanakina and having this crazy polka music going on, and seeing all these guys with steins and beers, and like it was the best thing ever. Like we're like, oh, our welcoming committee is here. And so then we got to the area we're gonna eat lunch in that pavilion or gazebo that you call it. So we got there, right, and the polka music's going on, and we saw all these people rolling in, having potluck. It was really cool. There was ladies like bringing us over like pork, like, here, try this roast pork and all this stuff, and bringing us food. And then Otto's had so much cool stuff. Like I just bought a loaf of bread, I think. Like
a half round
of bread, and I was just like eating it right off the half round. And his beer selection was awesome. He had sours,
big beer cooler to walk in. It's a big walk-in cooler.
Yeah, shout out to Otto. That's a great place.
They were prepping the night before. They were out drinking the night before and making chili dogs and offering up to everybody there.
Man.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we couldn't have picked a better day to show up in Wanakina with the music and the people and everything. It was just really, really awesome to be there during their October feast.
Although we left too early, the venison was just coming off the grill like 5 minutes
after
we leaving,
and we did contemplate, because Otto told us about this like secret camp spot that was like a camp spot that wasn't marked on a map yet or something. Yeah, that was literally in walking distance from Oktoberfest. He's like, you guys should stay and hang out here and just camp there. Like, don't go to your next point.
We were close. We toyed with that idea.
I was thinking about that idea. I was thinking.
I'll tell you what, though, that campsite was my favorite campsite of the trip. The one we stayed at.
Mine too.
Yeah, the one after the Ranger School. Yeah.
Sorry, Jason.
And then just the last like kind of overall thing that I had down for like favorite parts is like just hanging out with these group of idiots, right? Like, like it's so fun. Like, I don't care where we go, what mountain we're hiking, what hike we're doing. Like, if I'm doing it with these guys, like we're always just having a good time, and like no one gets mad at each other. We all kind of like make fun of each other, and it's cool, and it just rolls off. We none of us take anything too seriously, or each other too seriously, or ourselves too seriously, I should say. So that's really the big thing. I don't care where it is, as long as I'm like hanging out with my buddies. It's just fun to do outside. Oh, there's my hug thing.
Hearts.
La la la. Jason, what was your favorite part of the trip, man?
I don't know, probably day one when I came around the corner and I hear John up there saying, "Hey, you guys," and he's sitting on a freaking thunderbox about 50 feet from the that did happen, but
there's multiple thunderboxes with views of the trail.
But, I just couldn't get over the foliage for the whole trip, and the weather. I don't think could have asked for better weather. It was amazing, the color and everything else that was out there, and and being able to, like John just mentioned, kind of join the guys and almost fit right in right away with everyone. So, and it didn't take long for them to bust my chops and for me to start busting their chops and basically be part of the gang, I guess. So it was really cool. And I thank you all for allowing me to tag along for sure.
Oh yeah, man, you're always welcome. So in case folks didn't know, Jason, we had only met Jason the first time last October. We did the Hike October summit and a sandwich video, and if you haven't seen it, go back through the channel and check it out. You can check out the Hike October playlist. But John carried a 4 or 5 foot party sub. This thing was massive. Like it was this big around and it was 4.5 feet tall.
It was half Italian, half chicken cutlet, fresh mozz, and balsamic vinegar.
It was crazy. So we're wearing our orange Hike October shirts, like the one that Mark has on right now, and we're hiking this big party sub up to the top of J Mountain, which is a 3,000 plus foot mountain. The trail was 3.5 miles, 4 miles, something like that. Incredible. And that was our very first introduction to Jason. Jason has been somebody who's followed the channel for a real long time, and definitely appreciate your support on that. And really it was just a great introduction. And when we started talking about the Cranberry Lake 50 this year, I mentioned it and there was interest, and I was glad to have you come along, man. That was very cool. And like you said, you fit right in. It's just like a puzzle piece, and you connected, and everything was great. And I really appreciate having you on there.
It was fun for sure.
All right, Adam, what was your favorite part of the trip?
Not waking up to the sound of a highway.
Adam lives in the city, by the way.
I live in Brooklyn. I live next to the city, so I live pretty close to the BQE, and it's quite loud. But in all seriousness, it was John stole my thunder. It was walking up to John playing the whatever. I don't know. You could say he was playing the stove with. It was like an exhaust pipe or something. I couldn't really tell.
It was a cast iron skillet.
Yeah, it was
a cast iron skillet and a stove.
Yeah. Well, Dan and I were pulling up the rear. We were taking our time. Dan was like, I gotta stop here and go. And I'm like, all right, I'll just walk ahead because I think I hear somebody. And Dan's like, all right. And I hear a ruckus. Shall we say. And I come up over a small rise and around the corner, and I was like, hey Dan, they're not very far. And that's when Dan got serenaded with, I think it was Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yeah.
And it was excellent. But I'd say so that we have a unique moment. It was sitting down at the lean-to on the third night. I was exhausted, and you guys were all looking for hammock spots, and I see this guy just sitting there staring at us from like the trail, counting. And I was like, what's up, dude? And I had no idea who these guys are. And they're like, I think it was Jay that walked over and like saw him. And then this other dude walks up, and this is when they run into their friend from 10 years ago. And they just randomly came up on the site and shared a site with us. And I'd never met either of them, and they turned out to be two pretty cool people. And we got a pretty fun ER story.
Not safe for YouTube.
Not safe for
ER
YouTube.
story.
Yeah, it's not safe for anything.
No.
Yeah, that was
it's only safe for camping in the woods. So if you're ever out with us and we're camping, then you could ask us, hey, what was that ER story that you wanted to tell?
No, that was great. Thank you very much. Awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. We've been talking for almost an hour and a half now about the trip, and I really think, an hour and a half is not long enough to talk about the Cranberry Lake 50 or any of the real hikes that we've gone on. So, this is little tidbits, and everybody who's in the chat, I really appreciate you all for sticking around and adding, your parts, to the adventure. But really what it boils down to is, the reason we went out and did the Cranberry Lake 50 this year is to get out there and spread the word about the Hike for Mental Health organization and talk about the Hike October fundraiser. This is the third year that the 80K Woods Walker crew has participated in Hike for Mental Health's Hike October stuff, and each year we've progressed. We've gotten progressively better. I remember the first year I did it, I think I set my goal at $250, and I was small. Like, I didn't even have 1,000. I don't think I had like 300 subscribers on the channel. Very small. But I was able to blow that fundraising goal out of the water. You know, I raised over $500, $450, something like that, whatever it was. Blew my mind. So last year, 2020 is an epically crazy year. Everybody knows, you know, it's not a secret that the world shut down. And there's a lot of discussion about mental health issues, mental health awareness, and kind of dealing with the global pandemic and everything, all the fallout from that. In talking about mental health awareness, we were able to raise over $1,100 last year, which completely melted my brain. So this year, the goal was to do an epic hike, the Cranberry Lake 50, and put out a daily video series, the Hike for Mental Health Minute, rather. I really hope that folks got a chance to see some of those. I would really like if people watched all of them. That'd be awesome. But, you know, I thought it would be a good opportunity to share stuff that has worked for me, to kind of help my own mental health along. And so we put together the series, and we've had a lot of positive feedback from it. But the really big, amazing thing that happened is that we were able to raise an incredible amount of money. If you hold on one second, I'm going to share my screen here because it blows my mind every time I think about it. This is our Hike October fundraiser page, and we set our goal at $2,000. I originally thought when I set that, I'd be glad to get 1,500. But let's shoot for the sky and see what happens, right? This is what you guys did. Right? There's no words, man. I have a lot of words. I talk a lot. But the fact that we had nearly 50 donations from people, and we were able to raise over $2,100 for the Hike for Mental Health organization's missions for, you know, raising mental health awareness, funding brain and behavior research, and also trail conservation efforts. Like, these are huge, huge things. And, you know, in the grand scheme of the world and, you know, huge organizations and things like that, $2,000 might not seem like a lot, but in our world, in our corner of the universe here, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of really good money, and that's going to go to some very amazing things and hopefully help a whole bunch of awesome people. So I want to thank everybody, because this list here is crazy. And your words of encouragement for those who left them, it really means a lot. I get emails every time somebody leaves a message, and it's one of those things, like, this has really helped my mental health this year a lot. And there's some great, great things in here, and it's just nice to share this with everybody. So thank you. Thank you very, very much. With that being said, I did say anybody who donated at least $5 would be entered into a contest to win a t-shirt. So I think we really need to draw a winner for that. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
I'd love to see your drawing skills.
Oh, ha, 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 ha. So before I get into that, do any of you guys have anything that you wanted to add to what I just said about the Hike for Mental Health organization or Hike October? I mean, you guys did a great job sharing. You guys did a great job sharing some of your very vulnerable moments, and I really appreciate that. But I want to give you an opportunity if you have anything else you want to say.
Just what I said in the chat. Normalize the conversation so we can help each other. That's all.
You're here.
And the hike was just too long to do something crazy. So like next year, I'm gonna have to like carry a smoker or something on like a high peak. I don't know, something like
I'm
that.
in. I'm in.
I can help you take it apart and carry some of it.
It's awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. So let's get into this. What I did for drawing, there were 48 different donations. A number of them were under anonymous. So thank you, anonymous. I appreciate you, all of you, but I don't really know how to get in touch with you otherwise. And then there's our initial donation. So there are 40 people. So I'm going to do a random number generator, 1 through 40, and whatever comes up, that person's going to win an awesome Get Outside and Do Something Awesome t-shirt. So hopefully you guys can see. We're going to generate that. Number 29. Let's see, number 29. Who are you? Where are we today? Okay, interesting. So this is great. Where are we today? This is a guy that I know. His name is Sean. Sean actually has a YouTube channel himself, and he's just starting out. He's been doing a lot of fire tower hikes, so I highly recommend you check him out. But Sean, thank you very much. I don't know if you're on the chat. There's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. I'll get in touch with you, and we'll get that shirt sent out to you. That's very cool. That's awesome. What do you guys think about that?
I approve. I mean, I wish I'd won a shirt because you know how I feel about free clothes. But you know what?
Dan, you have enough shirts from Jay.
True story.
So
I have a lot of beta shirts.
Let's see. $2,100.
Wait. Jay gives you guys free shirts. He made me buy all mine.
I never gave anybody anything free. But this is what I'm going to do. You know what? Because we were able to actually exceed $2,000, let's do another one. Let's do another shirt. So if 29 comes up, he's not getting 2. Let's generate another one here. Number 7. Oh boy. Number 7. Oh, that's Mark.
No.
That's Mark. Mark doesn't count.
Reroll.
Get out of here, Mark. 12.
Come on, Alan.
Oh, there we go.
Sharon
actually donated twice in our fundraiser this year. She donated early in the month, and she saw we were so close to our goal later on in the month that she donated again. So Sharon, thank you very much. I will get in touch with you as well, and we will get you a shirt. That's very, very cool. Awesome.
Derek's asking what is Sean's YouTube? You should.
It is. I will link it. It is Where Are We Going Today, or Where Are We Today? Let me find it for you, and I will link it in the chat so that everybody has it. Or you could just Google Where Are We Today. Like I said, he's doing fire towers in the Adirondacks, and that's very cool. Very cool stuff. So the last part of the live stream that I wanted to do tonight was make our final donation for 2021. And just like last year, my big goal was to take the earnings from the channel. We're still, relatively small. Take the earnings from the channel that I get from October 1st to October 31st and make that as a donation to the fundraiser. So we'll go to YouTube. So if anybody doesn't know YouTube, this is the back end here. How about that? You guys get a little sneak peek at things. Go to the revenue tab. You guys can see, I presume. We'll go for October. Look at that, $69. So we will make a donation of $69 tonight. I'm not going to show that on the stream because I have to enter some personal information. Sorry, guys. But it will show up this evening, and that $69 will put us over $2,200, which is amazing. Very, very cool. Over $2,200. I cannot believe it. Yeah, it's awesome. So before we close down shop tonight, I guess I'll go around. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to add?
What are we doing next year?
That's a good question. Next year's going to be tough, boys. I'm not going to lie to you. Those of you who may have heard, I have very big plans for next year. August 1st is going to be my start date for my Vermont Long Trail through hike. So I plan on that taking probably 3.5 weeks. Chances are the missus won't be too keen on letting me go to do another big backpacking trip.
So why don't two of us at a time do 1 week legs with you?
I would love it. You guys can all come. I think you guys should
Jay's buying a nanny so I can come for the whole trip.
Yeah, I think you guys should all come.
With that $69 YouTube money that we got. Like, how many weeks do you think I can get a daycare for that?
Very, very cool.
2 hours. About 20 minutes.
But yeah, I like the idea. If you want to come up and hike some Vermont mountains with me, I think that would be great. Because that's pretty much what the long trail is.
Don't worry. Once you're up on the ridge, I hear it's fine.
Dan, who else are we going to find to be our cameraman now?
I have no idea, dude.
If Jay's not on another trips, like someone else needs to record us and put it on YouTube. We can't
It's going to be Cat and Thomas all over again.
I know.
We're just gonna send Jay this pile of clips and go have fun.
I do want to do that again. But we don't hike unless it's recorded. Like, God, who does that?
Why would you do anything in the outdoors unless it's going to go on YouTube?
Yeah, I can't just hike without someone recording me.
Oh, Jim, green tunnels are great, man. That's pretty much the entirety of the TCT. That's really what it was.
Green tunnels and ferns.
Yep, exactly. So, all right. Unless you guys have anything else, I'm impressed, man. We've been chatting for a long time. This is going to be a good one. And I really appreciate all of you, everybody in the chat and everybody who's been watching the live stream. You're all amazing human beings, and from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate every single one of you. And even these jokers that are here, you see their faces. I love each and every one of these guys. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a kiss. And if you see us on the trails, please stop by and say hi. We love chatting with people. So.
Somebody recognized me out on the trail on the Carnberry Lake 50. That was cool.
Yeah. Dan's internet famous.
I'm like, what? wait, you're the guy. That means Jay's around somewhere. I'm like, filtering water.